Okay, we're looking at chapter 4 now, which is objects. And objects in JavaScript are similar to arrays, but they use strings instead of numbers to access the different elements. The strings are called keys or properties, and the elements they point to are called values. Together, they're called key-value pairs. And objects are often used to represent single things with multiple characteristics or attributes. So our first exercise to show this is that we wanted to store lots of information about a single animal by creating an object. And so it's creating information about one cat. And there we've got the number of legs, its name and color. And if we go through to here,
Okay.
you can see we've actually made an alert to tell us what the cat color is, which you can see. And then if we go to inspect, go to the console, you can see that it has console logged the name. It's come out as Harmony, and we can write that in a string or just put cat.name. It will bring us the name. But there we have created our object. We can do this. We can make multiple objects. There's a number of ways we can write that. That's accessing the values in an object. Then we went on to create multiple objects, combining arrays and objects. Sorry, I'll just edit this out. Okay, so this is adding values to objects. We can just start with an empty array. That's here. Equals the empty object, but then we can enter the objects at the same time. We can add items to the object, and we're using strings instead of numbers. So if we look, it has added all of it to our code. There's console log cat, so we've added in all the details of the cat, and console log what its color is, which allows us to show. And we can do that through dot as well, cat dot legs, for example. Okay, moving on, combining arrays and objects. So we want to put in another array or object as a value in an array or object. So we have an array of dinosaurs like this. And if we want to get the first dinosaur, we can just put in the name of the object, and it will provide us all the items, all the items from that object. And then we can also go into further detail. If we want just the name, we can show it here as which index it's part of, dot name, and it will provide us whatever's in the name there. Sorry, my vocab isn't completely up there. So the same example followed with an array of friends. And we then could also do something that allowed us to, sorry, this is all the same, doing things now with the object. We want we showed an example of keeping track of money owed. So you lend in your friends money and you want to have a way to keep track of how much money each of them owes you. So the object is a way of linking a string and a value together. In this case, the string would be your friend's name and the value would be the amount he or she owes you. So we first create a new empty object called owed money. We assign the value 5 to the key Jimmy. We do the same thing, assigning the value of 7 to the key Anna. And then we ask for the value associated with the key Jimmy, or Anna here, owed value. We want to see its console log. And if we put in a different value that's not there, it will actually come up undefined. So now to increase the amount of money that we want to show that Jimmy now has borrowed 3, we can update our object and add 3 to the amount of Jimmy owes with the plus equals operator. So we just put in owed money.Jimmy plus equals 3. And if we console log that, we can see what it says. Console log Jimmy plus equals 3. So that gives us 8, owed money.Jimmy. If that makes sense. So it's printing everything. And then we can also see all of the money that everyone owes by just saying console log owed money. That's that 52, line 52, Jimmy 8, Anna 7. So now we moved on to show a collection of a large amount. We wanted to show our collection of movies. So this is a large amount of information that we want to store into objects. And every key is a movie title and every value is another object containing information about the movie. The values in objects can be objects themselves, so we can have objects within objects. So here's all 3 of our movies. We've put in the information about them, Finding Nemo and the... So let's go into it. So in terms of the object and the keys, you can see the information that's linked to it. And now we want to add Finding Nemo in. Oh no, sorry. Sorry, I need to go into it. Oh yes, no, we added cars into it. So as you can see, we just put in the same thing, let cars equal, and then its details, movies, cars equals cars. And then if we look at our log, there you can see Finding Nemo has, cars has been added in at the end. So that added in all our information about the movies, and we just want to console log the names of the movies to show that they've all been added in to this array of objects. Okay, moving on to the challenges. We wanted to make a little game to show that how this could keep track of scores. So we created an object of scores here and 3 friends, and they all start at 0. So let scores equals the object, and we want that scores of my friend Frodo, Rick, and myself, James. And now we want to see what all the scores are when they're all at the starting. So it's 0. Everyone has 0 there, but now let's say I score. We'll just say scores.James, and then we can console log the scores for just James, and you can see 1, I've just scored 1, and if we do all the scores, you'll see the difference between them. There we go. So now we can,
James, do you think you
yes,
can you be able to send me that code
yes,
on the chat on the
yeah,
yeah, please can you send me it?
sure, no problem. And now, say we had the following object, my crazy object. Now, how would you be able to console log? How would we get the number 123 out of this object using one line of JavaScript? Try type it in the console to see if you're right. So we've got in the object, my crazy object, we've got its name, some array, that's all details about it, and a random animal. You can have obviously an array within that and an object within an array. So now if we want to just print 123, console.log my crazy object, the object that we're drawing from, it's within some array, and then within that you can see 0, 1, 2. So now that's that array. So we want that array dot the number, the object within that array, within this object. So you can have multiple arrays and objects within an object. And if we look at the console log, you can see 123 has come out of there. Okay, thank you, Bootsy.